This is Jeevitha from Department of Management Studies, Mrs.E.Jeevitha College. We are going to see about an introduction to behavioral finance. So, whenever we are talking about financial decision, psychology also plays a very major role when an individual takes decisions regarding finance. So, behavioral finance is a study of investor psychology when making financial decisions. So, it's a study of psychology on investors and financial markets also. So, it focuses on how an investor lacks self-control and also how sometimes investors act against their own best interest and also make decisions based on behavioral biases and personal biases. So, behavioral finance is a combination of psychology and also finance. Right. So, when you are given with these two options, that is a chance of winning, a 50% chance of winning rupees 100 or a sure short gain of rupees 50, which option usually people will choose? Most of the people will go for option B because we think of ourselves as conservative, and whenever we are gaining money, we always want to make a conservative decision, and a bird in hand is always worth than two in bush. So, we don't want to go for gambling. Suppose if we are given with this kind of option, that is a 50% chance of losing rupees 100 or a sure short loss of rupees 50. In this case, what most of the people will do? The thing is, the interesting fact is most of the people will go for option A. That is, when we actually as an investors, most of the people hate losses. They don't want to lose money. So when there is a chance of losing money, they always want to try their luck and they'll start taking risk. So most of the people are thinking, why not we gamble? Why not we check our luck? So what they are doing is they are starting to take risk. So the inference from these two examples is that how our behavior is affected by the context or the change in the presentation or the change in the nature of the situation that we are in. Right? The particular illustration explains why we behave in a risky situation differently than we behave in a certain situation. So from this inference, we can find that the argument here is our decision making process is influenced by different factors, including financial and behavioral ones. So this is an important concept of behavioral finance, that is loss aversion. Investors take more risk when faced with loss and are more conservative to lock in sure profit. That is, whenever we are getting profit, we want to be conservative and take profit, and whenever when the situation is loss is coming, we want to take risk. So this concept we call it as loss aversion. Right? So due to loss aversion, the investors tend to go for sure gain and they take more risk when threatened with losses, and investors prefer fixed investment over stocks. This is the major reason that many people are investing in fixed deposits and they are not going for stocks, because they want to have a sure gain and they don't want to take any risk. Right? This is a tendency to hold losers and also sell winners. Sometimes what happens is many people will start selling the shares which are profitable and they want to hold shares which are in loss. So this is also an important reason. This loss aversion is an important reason for holding the stock. Then let us go for one more question. If you are having a complimentary ticket for a Filmfare Award, on this evening if there is a severe rain and there are floods, will you go? There most of the people will say no, because this is a complimentary ticket. Suppose if you are getting the same ticket by paying 1500 rupees, if again there is a severe rain and flood, will you go? Most of the people will say yes. Here the behavioral concept is sunk cost fallacy. That is, it is a human tendency to stick with the endeavors in which we have already invested time, money and other resources, even when changing course would be the more logical choice. That is, as we have invested some time, as we have invested some money, we don't want to change our decision. So this behavioral concept is called as sunk cost fallacy. Some of the examples of sunk cost fallacy is staying in a relationship even though if you are not happy with that relationship, and thinking that you cannot change your dissertation topic because you have invested so much time on that. Now one more example is remaining in the same job even if you are not satisfied with the job. And the last one is sticking with a boring book because you feel obliged to complete the book. These are some of the examples of sunk cost fallacy. And what is the scope of behavioral finance? The behavioral finance will help us to understand the reasons for market anomalies. That is the stock market crashes and stock market bubbles. There are so many behavioral aspects involved in this. All these things we can study with the help of, we can study and understand with the help of behavioral finance. And this behavioral finance will help us to identify the personality of the investors, and it will help us to enhance the skill set of the investors, investment advisors, and also it helps us to identify the risk and develop hedging. Thank you.